Hey!
This is JJ and Alex.
I made a name for myself, I told you I won't be denied.
As you wrap up your day, it's time to get your fix of the teams you live for and the sports you love. This is JJ and Alex on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
What's going on, everybody? Happy Wednesday to you. I had to check the calendar. These big game weekends. I'm all thrown off because I thought yesterday was Sunday because I'm just so used to my Pro Bowls being played on Sunday. You know what I mean? I had it marked on my calendar.
Your body clock is timed to the Pro Bowl?
Yeah, I'm just...
That's weird.
And what a game it was. The Western Conference... scored 200 points against the Eastern Conference. Am I getting my All-Star games mixed up too now? I don't even know what happened in the Pro Bowl.
Yeah, there's no such thing.
That's what I'm saying. I have no idea what happened in the Pro Bowl. NFC, AFC, there's not a thing anymore.
No, it's the Pro Bowl games.
It's the games. So
I don't know what that means either.
Fake football Olympics? I don't know.
You want to know what the crazy thing is?
Nobody watched it?
Oh, you're wrong.
Oh, no.
You think nobody watched that?
Don't tell me that it paid off for them to schedule it on a Tuesday night, because I wasn't interested at all.
What else were you watching last night? Because we're talking about it to start our show.
The young...
It's 3:03 on a Wednesday.
I know.
And we started our show.
No, I know.
Coming off an NBA trade deadline. The night the Mammoth play and the night that BYU and Utah State hoops are playing, and we're talking about the Pro Bowl games.
Hey, Napolis. Before we get started up here to actually talk some good stuff with Mike Folta, can we hit the breaking news sounder because it's such a big deal? Yes, the trade deadline came and went, but don't worry because the Jazz were so fired up here. JJ, give me some of the latest on the trade deadline news that the Jazz snuck in at the very end of everything here.
Yeah, we have some breaking news to start the show.
Uh-huh.
Start a little better off than we did with the Pro Bowl games.
I'm just saying.
Trade deadline news involving the Utah Jazz. The Cleveland Cavaliers have agreed to trade Lonzo Ball and 2 second-round picks to the Utah Jazz, sources tell ESPN.
Gosh, what number is he going to wear here in the Mountain Blue?
None, because he's not going to play.
Okay.
He and his agent, Rich Paul, are going to work out a buyout with the Jazz. He'll be a free agent. So put Lonzo Ball on the list of all-time names. Russell Westbrook.
Oh, yeah.
Glenn Rice. Of players who were traded here, Kendrick Perkins.
Derrick Rose?
Never actually played here, Derrick Rose.
I've got that jersey in my closet. You know what I mean?
You should have it. I think you should have a whole closet of these jerseys.
Guys.
A Utah Jazz Russell Westbrook jersey.
Just randos who are here for zero time. But
Lonzo Ball joins the club.
All right. So, Jock Landale, we hardly knew ye.
He's
also.
not. Yeah, that's a good another breaking news thing there. He's actually headed to the Atlanta Hawks.
I do love that one of my favorite moves that happens still in the NBA is Jock Landale going to the Hawks from the Utah Jazz for cash considerations. It almost sounds like and parting gifts. You know what I mean? Like the old parting gifts that you got.
It sounds like Rice and Roney on the old Wheel of Fortune.
Yeah, I loved it. So.
You didn't win any money, but you go home with the San Francisco treat.
Oh, yeah. They did. They would always be like, and a recliner from the Lazy Boy Corporation. So there you go. 2 second-round picks, though, coming to the Jazz for Lonzo Ball. So there you go.
Another big name that moved today is Chris Paul.
Where's he going? Is he following James Harden over to the Cavaliers?
The Clippers, Nets, and Raptors have agreed on a multi-team trade sending Chris Paul to the Raptors.
Oh, boy.
And Ochai Agbaji, a 2032 Raptors second-rounder, and cash to the Nets.
Didn't Ochai Agbaji have a little bit of a stay over here?
Yeah, he played a whole year here.
Yeah. Well, listen. We appreciate everybody being there. Appreciate everybody.
I think it was the Kelly Olynyk deal, if I remember right. Anyway.
Oh, yeah.
But the Shams reports that Chris Paul will not be required to report to the Raptors and could still discuss trades involving him over the next day.
All right. Well, there you go. Top of the show, you had some movement, late movement there by the
Anthony
the Jazz.
Davis moved today to the Wizards. Kobe White and Mike Conley were traded by the Bulls to the Charlotte Hornets for Colin Sexton,
Oh boy!
Ousmane Deng, and 3 second-round picks.
So that's a lot of movement, man.
It was a busy trade deadline.
Yeah.
I was entertained.
And the Jazz, of course, were involved in all that. But
Very
the big
much
one,
so.
The
At the
big one,
center
of
of
course, yesterday was the big news of Jaren Jackson Jr. coming here. But there's always this type of stuff, this type of shenanigans, trade shenanigans that happens last minute.
Yeah.
That doesn't actually it's just business.
Yep.
It's just all bottom line stuff. It's all cap stuff. It's all here. Take a late second rounder from us. No problem.
A lot of these teams are trying to get out of the tax.
Yeah, it's just a tax write-off.
It is business.
Yeah. So there you go. Lots going on here. But of course, we're with you on a Wednesday here as we're getting into the final Mammoth matchup before the Olympic break happens. Of course, it's a big one because as we look at it, this team. I know the Jazz were all we talked about yesterday because we only had a 1 hour show, but. Of course, the hat trick by Nick Schmaltz the other night was quickly overshadowed yesterday by all that breaking news. But the Utah Mammoth, of course, wrapping up their right before this break for them as they welcome the Red Wings into town tonight. And don't forget how big of a game this is because you don't want to go into the break here with a sour taste in your mouth because it really could be that on top of, losing to Tampa Bay, losing to Carolina in the fashion that they did. And then, of course, Dallas came into town. These are all really, really good teams, of course, but you don't want to go and lose 4 of your last 5 going into the break here. You want to wrap this thing up with the 6-goal barrage that happened the other night on top of a possible win over Detroit, who comes to town. Joining us on the program right now, he is, of course, Mike Folta, the radio play-by-play voice of the Utah Mammoth. Mike, how's it going, man? Everything good in your world?
Hey, we're not quite sitting in the shade of the palm trees yet, boys. We got one more big one tonight against a really good Detroit team. Red Wings, 6th in the NHL, in terms of the big leaderboard, in terms of standings, total points. They're an elite team with elite players, and they don't score the most. They're not the best defensively, but they play really good complementary hockey. They've got some legendary players, Patrick Kane chiefly among them. They've got a hot goalie in John Gibson. So it's going to be a really good test for the Mammoth to try and finish off this portion of the schedule here tonight.
Got to look back on that Vancouver win and Nick Schmaltz, the hat trick. And it's not just one game. He's been phenomenal all season. What does this mean for him moving forward and with this franchise the way he's played? Because we all knew he was talented, but we didn't expect a season like this maybe.
Yeah, I mean, moving forward with the franchise, it's hard to say, right? He's a free agent coming up at the end of this season, so there'll have to be some decisions made there. And General Manager Bill Armstrong has talked about, making that decision after the season. But for Schmaltz and the Mammoth, the best thing for everybody is if he continues to ball out like he is. Right now, he's one of just 9 players this year to have multiple hat tricks this season.
Wow.
So he's done it. He's done it twice at home. After we didn't have any home hat tricks last season,
right?
And Schmaltz has done it twice in the Delta Center this season. But he's only 1 goal away from tying a career high, and we've got 20-something games left. So he's playing the best hockey of his life, and he's doing it at the center position, as we've talked about a lot. It's harder to play center than it is to play wing. I was talking with DJ and PK, and I don't know if this is the exact comparison, but it's kind of like being like an X receiver versus like a slot receiver. You get the tougher matchups. You're a little bit more responsibility. I don't know, JJ. What do you think of that comparison?
No, it's pretty
like
good.
Like a big X or a Z.
Yeah.
I was supposed to be a quarterback when I was growing up, and I was a smart kid, but I just didn't know the plays. I didn't know X, Y, Z, all that stuff. That was all beyond me.
Well, yeah, I mean, that I played football and I played a lot of football And I ignored all that stuff because I was on the O-line. You know what I mean? Like I was like, let's let those guys figure it out over here. I've got to figure out how to get this.
I just got to hit the guy in front of me.
Hey, what is that voice for? That's what my wife.
That's offensive line
that's
voice.
That's what my wife does. That's the voice my wife does for me when she feels like she wants to make a point against me. She's like, "Oh yeah, we're gonna go. Yeah, we'll see you this weekend." Right? that's my wife's voice for me when she wants to really make a point. Mike, one of the things, it's so huge because this Western Conference is already a tight race. I'm looking at just the Pacific Division. I was looking at the other night because I think that the Golden Knights have lost 5 in a row and they're still at the very top of that standing. But it's not like it's an easy one for them. It's like 2 points separating the top 4 in that division, and the Mammoth had suddenly fallen out of the wild card, and then with that one win, then they're back up again into that first spot. This Western Conference is very, very tight, and this division, the Central Division, has these top 3 teams that look phenomenal. All 3 of them look phenomenal, and 13 points separate the Stars and the Mammoth, and that was such a huge game the other night, and it was a close one, and it was good, and the Mammoth have won 7 out of their last 10, but man, this is a tight race in the West.
Yeah, and the 3 teams in front of Utah in the Central Division, Colorado, Minnesota, Dallas, well, they also happen to be 3 of the top 5 teams in the whole league,
right.
Kind of what you were saying. The West is really tight, except at the top. Like, those top 3 teams have pulled away from everybody, and there's a pretty big chasm between the third-place team in the Central and the fourth place, which is where Utah is. But, I mean, the rest of it, as you were saying, Vegas leads the Pacific Division. Utah 4th in the Central. Mammoth are 2 points behind Vegas. So, like, if Utah was in the Pacific Division, they'd be a lot closer to the top. That's not the case. There's been a lot made over the last couple of years of the playoff format in the NHL. They don't do it just 1 through 8. So you can have a couple really good teams face each other in the first round, which is what we're going to have. Likely Minnesota and Dallas are going to face each other in the first round, even though they deserve better first round matchups. But Utah in the mix right now, still in the top wild card spot, above Seattle, above Los Angeles, above San Jose. Good news for Utah is that according to our good friends over at Tankathon.com, which is not a website you want to be going to that much if you're a sports fan. But Tankathon.com tabulates strength of schedule just based on the team's winning percentages that are still on your schedule. Utah has the 5th easiest. That's the good news. The bad news is that there are 3 teams that have easier schedules than Utah, or 4 teams. Colorado's one of them, but 3 teams are of concern: San Jose, Anaheim, and LA. 3 teams that are all
right behind them
with Utah. Yeah, so that point is kind of moot right there. But mention the LA Kings. We got news a little earlier today that Artemi Panarin, who is one of the best players in the league, had been with the New York Rangers. He just got traded to the LA Kings earlier this afternoon. So the Kings are pushing their chips towards the middle of the season, and they just got a whole heck of a lot better with one of the best snipers, playmakers in the NHL in Panarin. So they're a different shaped threat now. Panarin in the lineup, that's something you have to keep tabs on. Adam Schefter broke that trade. How about that?
Of course he did.
Shefty dipping into the hockey sphere.
Stay in your lane, Shefty. Come on, man.
Some of these newsbreakers getting greedy.
They don't know how to turn it off.
Bleeding
at some
into
point,
other leagues.
Yeah, they hear something and they got
some scraps for somebody else.
They got to throw it out there. So yeah,
Man.
it's always pretty wild to watch that thing go down. This Utah team, though, has one of the best score differentials of any of those teams that we've talked about that are in that wild card race. It's a great offensive team, and certainly 5-on-5, they are phenomenal. Penalty kill has been an issue for this team lately. How do they tighten that thing up?
Yeah, special teams in general has been an area of concern. Mammoth are actually one of the best 5-on-5 teams in the NHL. They've been kind of top 5 in that category for most of the year, and that's why the analytics community loves Utah. On the penalty kill, we were hearing from Bear actually earlier this morning about being really aggressive on the penalty kill and putting a lot of pressure on the other team's power play. And what he means is, the forwards on the PK kind of aggressively moving up top to where the puck is near the blue line a lot of times, and kind of forcing the guy into a decision. And even though you might not steal the puck right there, that allows the rest of the PK to read off of the decision that guy has to make. So it's a good power play in Detroit that the Mammoth are facing here tonight. It's going to be a really good challenge on the penalty kill front. But special teams is a big deal, and that's an area that the Mammoths have to get better at going down the stretch here, because in these close games, a lot of times it's just one save or that one power play goal that can make the difference, not just in a game, but whether you make it into the postseason or not.
The Mammoth are in a very tough stretch where they're playing some of the best teams in the league. What are you learning about this team during this stretch, Mike?
Yeah, I think some of it is what I just mentioned, right? That this team is a few details away from being, up in that upper echelon, right? They give up a couple of power play goals against Dallas and Carolina. Well, okay, you lose both of those games by one goal, right? You outplay Tampa Bay, but the Lightning have the best goalie in the world in Andrei Vasilevsky, and that's that, right? So there's these details that have kept the Mammoth from winning those games as of late, the games against Tampa, Carolina, and Dallas, three of the best teams in the league. The Mammoth are right with them 5-on-5. It's just the special teams, that one more save, that one more power play goal that separates them from, the cream of the crop in the National Hockey League. I really think that the elevation of individuals on this roster has been fun to watch too. John Marino, defenseman for Utah. Maybe the casual fan wouldn't notice him a ton out there, but he has been excellent this year, having a career season. We talked about Nick Schmaltz earlier. His production is approaching career high levels, but he's been outstanding in his own zone in the defensive end as well. That stood out. So I think the fact that the Mammoth are just a couple of details away, and the elevation of individuals in big moments has stood out to me.
Really great January, and they go into February here. They could steal a win right before the Olympic break here. Where does the Olympic break stand? I mean, obviously, a handful of guys playing for their teams. Of course, the captain's going to be out there, Clayton Keller for Team USA, and Peterka's going to be there with Germany, Veggies with Czechia, and then Oli Mata. I don't know how much he's going to be playing with Finland, but he's on that team. So as this break happens, you got those guys that we'll take a look at, but this team, how does a break like this affect a team like Utah who's been hot, and then they go into this break? Would they prefer to keep playing right now, or do you think that this break is well needed and it comes at a great time?
I'm not speaking for anybody, but I think it's really needed. It's been a condensed schedule this year, as we all know, with the Olympic break. Because the Olympic break is so big, the rest of the schedule gets condensed. And I know that some guys are playing less than 100%, like a lot of guys in the NHL are. But this isn't the NBA where you've got, some gout or something that's keeping you out for a game. Like, these guys are playing through pretty significant discomfort. I'll just say that. But I think this will be a really good couple of weeks for the Mammoth to get some key guys healthy. One of the guys who's been out of the lineup has been Logan Cooley. And so we're supposed to get him back. We think we're going to get him back after the Olympic break with 25 games left to go on the schedule. And he's Utah's most dynamic player offensively, and the Mammoths have a winning record without him. I mean, we saw him go down, and we thought, okay, that could be the season right there. That could be curtained. But no, the Mammoths have had a winning record without Cooley. And so getting him back into the fold is kind of going to be like having that nice trade deadline acquisition, right? He's going to serve that same. It's going to feel that way. So really excited to get him back. Alexander Kerfoot's been hurt as well. He's a really versatile piece. Can kill penalties, win faceoffs, responsible defensively. Those two guys coming back into the lineup will be good. But I'm going to be enjoying that the crap out of the break on a beach somewhere. But I think everybody else is just going to be nursing bumps and bruises.
Well, the nice thing is you can lay on that beach and enjoy yourself, but also enjoy Olympic hockey. How great is this tournament going to be? I mean, I'm juiced for it, man. This is going to be awesome.
It's going to be incredible, and we've heard some rumblings about the arena not being finished the way they would hope it would be, and things like that. And there's been some intrigue around that. Talked with our good friend Sam Farnsworth over at KSL 5 the other day, and he was telling us it's all good. The arena looks great, and I remember back to the Four Nations tournament last year. We had U.S., we had Canada going at it. That tournament was awesome because the players made it awesome. Yeah. And this is the first time we have NHL players in the Olympics since 2014 in Sochi, and the players are going to make it awesome again. It's going to be incredible. I don't think you're going to see the fights as much, different rules in the Olympics, things like that. It's not quite officiated the same. So I don't think you should expect 3 fights right off the first face-off, like we had at the Four Nations tournament last year.
How are the Kachucks going to behave themselves?
The Kachucks are in this tournament. You have no idea. Maybe we have no clue how this thing's going to go. They might set a new precedent.
Hey, I'm all for it. I am all for it, especially in the play-in rounds. But my broadcast partner Adrian Denny just sent me a note. So Canada plays Czechia, I beg your pardon, in the first pool play game. If you take the combined record of the Czech goalies that they have, including Karel Vejmelka, they're 30 games above 500.
Wow.
Okay? So they're good. They're good. You take the combined record of the Team Canada goalies. Canada's supposed to be the best hockey country in the world. We'll see. The combined record for the Team Canada goalies, 2 games under 500.
Wow.
So it's night and day the strength in net between Czechia and Canada. Now the Czechs don't have Nathan McKinnon or Sidney Crosby or Connor McDavid, but Canada certainly is dealing with some goaltending intrigue heading into the Olympics.
So you're just going to expect us to outscore everybody? Is that what we're going to see?
Well, with those guys up front, they might be able to. And I'm looking at the Czechs to be a really strong team. They've got some really good players, not just in net, although obviously we'll be watching Veggie. Team Sweden looks incredible to me as well. That's going to be a tough out. They were very good at the Four Nations tournament. Finland always seems to overachieve, even though they might not have as many household names. They tend to overachieve in these international tournaments. Last time the U.S. played Finland in Best on Best Olympics in 2014, Olli Mata was on Team Finland, and they crushed the Americans 5-1 to win a bronze medal. So you can't take anybody lightly in this tournament, and we're all expecting U.S. Canada to be among the top teams, but there's 16 countries that have a say in this.
And they've all got a history, man. All these guys have some crazy history in the Olympics, and certainly with the best on best situation now, bringing the NHL guys in, it's just it's going to be such great hockey. It should be so much fun to watch these guys going back and forth, and so we're looking forward to it. But we're looking forward, of course, first to tonight, the Detroit Red Wings coming to town. Always love to see that sweater in town on our ice here across the street because it just makes it feel like, hey, this is the NHL. These guys don't give up at all. There's no nights off here, and getting a win right before the break would be awesome for these guys. Mike, we're looking forward to the call tonight, man.
Yeah, thanks, guys. Appreciate it. Looking forward to it as well. It should be a great tilt.
There you go. Mike Folta, everybody. Play-by-play voice of the Utah Mammoth. All brought to you by the good folks at Hercules First Federal Credit Union, growing stronger together. We'll take the break here. We'll come back. We've got more around the corner. Let's jump in here. We'll get to some more of the trade deadline stuff that happened today, whether or not it's going to affect you or I or Lonzo Ball coming into the Utah Jazz and headed right out the door again. All right, more to go. 97.5 the KSL Sports Zone.
Ladies and gentlemen, the biggest name.
You're locked into JJ and Alex. With the insight and analysis on the teams you can't live without. This is 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
You broke up with your guy, believed in you again. You said, the bright lights of L.A., that's where I want to go. Let's see if that works. Listen, James, have you ever had those friends who had bad roommates? Over and over, they complained about their bad roommates. This guy's terrible, the bad roommate here. They never thought to be self-aware enough that they're the bad roommate. They're the problem. Hey, James, you're the problem. If this doesn't work this year in this system with this team, then you're going to go and point fingers at everybody else, and you're going to go back home and you're going to start swiping right for another team, and there's not going to be anybody left. Because, James, you're not the beard, you're not the system, you're the problem.
I mean, that clip, if you were to think it was from already something that happened like last night.
Yeah, no, if you said that was today, I would have believed you.
Because
it's evergreen.
I remember when it happened, and I remember thinking, that's crazy. But he was talking about when he was moved to L.A. to the Clippers to finally make it happen. And instead, now, almost 3 years later, 2.5 years later after that sound was initially done, it still applies to James Harden.
The Clippers were stacked. They had that roster. Was supposed to win a title in that brand new building this year. What happened?
What do you think? If we were to dip into Cleveland,
Harden.
if we were to dip into Cleveland sports talk today, let's pretend like we're let's pretend like we're the radio home of the Cleveland Cavaliers right now.
All right.
I love it because now Donovan's got that guy next to him, JJ. And you, correct me if I'm wrong, but this feels like a new era for this Cleveland Cavaliers team. Bring back the title for the first time since LeBron brought it here. I don't need LeBron. Give me James Harden. Give me Donovan Mitchell.
I don't know, man. They say Cleveland's a mistake by the lake. I think this trade is a mistake by the lake. What are we doing here?
Not since the Steel left the city years
Darius
ago.
Garland's a young player. What are we doing here?
When my dad left his job in 1972 for the steel mills, I'm telling you, I haven't had such hope since then that the Cleveland Cavaliers could bring hope. Of course, we cannot have the Browns bring us any happiness, but this Cleveland Cavaliers, I think this is a team.
Mike, are they really trying to convince themselves this year? There's no way.
This is going to put the Cleveland Cavaliers over the top.
No, it is not. There's no way. You tell me the reality of this. When James Harden goes to the Cleveland Cavaliers, what's really going to happen? Because he did improve
I'll tell you what's going to happen. The same thing that happened in Oklahoma City, the same thing that happened in Houston, the same thing that happened in Brooklyn, the same thing that happened in Philadelphia, the same thing that happened in L.A.
Nothing. But you said
nothing. Nothing's going to happen.
You said a couple of days ago on this very station, on this very set of airwaves, that he was like, "Hey, he might be an all-star snub."
He puts up all-star numbers.
He does, and he still shoots 35% from three, which isn't his best, of course. This isn't the old 38% days.
But James Harden is all about James Harden, and this is the latest example. All of a sudden, a couple days before the deadline, word comes out he wants to be moved. Why? What's going on?
Yeah,
he does this all the time.
So
and these teams keep rolling the dice. Why? Because he's an all-star level player.
Yeah, he is.
Everyone thinks it's going to be different this time around. The Cavaliers right now are trying to convince themselves it's going to be different this time around.
How do you think Donovan Mitchell feels?
They give up a good player to do it.
We got to know that young man quite a bit here.
His honest reaction to this?
What do you think the honest reaction?
I don't think he loves it. He's going to talk himself into it because I know that's how he operates. He's going to talk himself into it. He's going to try to handle it the best he can. He's going to do a great job with PR. But at the end of the day, you can't have two guys that need the ball all the time.
Do you remember when he was a scoring champ 2 years in a row? Harden.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, of course.
36 and a half points a game back in 2018.
He lives at the foul line. He's an offensive juggernaut.
He dishes the ball, though. Listen.
No, he does a lot of good things. Doesn't win championships.
No.
And bounces around a lot because he wears out his welcome. And I don't know what his deal is. He's oftentimes the one asking for these moves.
Quirky, to say the least, right?
For sure.
You have to deal with whatever the stuff is. Just like he said in that rant,
he wants to be in charge. The guy thinks he gets to decide when he goes to play and when he doesn't, and when he goes to practices, and he wants to go to Vegas in between games, and all the stuff that he does. And everybody else knows all this. I mean, there's people around the league know what he's all about. I don't know that he's all about winning. I think he's all about James.
Yeah. Do you still have that line? Hey, Annapolis, You're a young kid. Does he still have that line of gummy snacks, sour gummy snacks that remember the beard gummies that Trolley did for a while?
They did?
Oh, yeah. My kids were all about it. They're like, give me those James Harden
those
gummies.
can't taste good.
I mean, they were shaped like his beard. Did they taste like the beard?
What was the flavor?
I'm like, this guy.
I'm not trying those.
No, this guy.
You talking about the Shaq snacks?
No, Shaq snacks are new. The Shaq XL gummies are new. Okay? Listen, I've got kids. I've got the gummy game down. And
Shaq's the greatest entrepreneur since Magic Johnson.
Well, he's selling
That dude markets everything.
He's selling a sour gummy bag of lies is what he's doing because they're not
That's
that
insane.
big. They say XL on them. I got some. They're not that big. All right. So my whole deal with Harden leaving is the same type of feel that I have with, and I don't put this on James Harden. I put it on him. Anthony Davis. I started to feel bad for him today when I saw that he got moved to the Wizards because I don't think he's the one that's pushing that.
Anthony Street Clothes Davis?
That poor guy. He can't stay healthy. I mean, the best of his days, did we see him in New Orleans? Is that when we saw the best of Anthony Davis?
Yes. That was when he was in his prime.
And then he goes to L.A. and he becomes...
He won a title in the bubble.
And he becomes a little bit of an afterthought because of where he's at, because everybody kind of does when you're in the shadow of LeBron. But he moves to Dallas, probably, shocked as everybody else is at that moment. He's been in street clothes, as you mentioned, forever.
Unfortunately tied to the worst trade in NBA history.
Yeah, and that's not on him. And I think that him joining Trae Young at Washington is not going to fix anything either. Like, that's a trade that I saw somebody today. I'll steal it from one of those fake trailers they made of these movies that now exist, these AI fake trailers they made. And the movie was called starring Trae Young and Anthony Davis, 5 Years Too Late.
Oh, man.
Isn't that sad?
That's true.
And it's 100% true about both of those guys. Mm-hmm. Like, both of those guys feel like every roster they get on is the general manager looks at it and goes, we got a problem.
What are the Wizards doing? What's their thought process here?
That they have a couple of names that could sell tickets? I don't know.
Who wants to see those two play anymore?
I don't know. And who would see them play
at a
very
premium,
often?
I guess.
Yeah.
I don't mind watching them play, but I'm not paying a premium.
Yeah.
Those guys aren't a draw. Those guys aren't going to improve your standing in the league or with your fan base. I don't understand what they're doing. They're in a position to build a nice young roster. I know you got to have some guys on there you pay, but are the Wizards making their own statement like the Jazz that their tank is over,
No.
but this is what they're presenting? Is their tank being over? I don't think so.
By comparison, the move that the Jazz made yesterday looks like a freaking steal.
Oh.
It looks like the deal of a lifetime.
It looks like a great move and a great fit.
Because in the end, the biggest deal about this is when you make trades for guys like him, you get a guy that you would have never gotten in free agency.
Right.
You get a guy that can change the entire future of your team in one move, and they did it. And I'm not saying that like you're not going to get him in free agency because he doesn't want to be here or whatever. I mean, maybe obviously Utah's not the first choice for a lot of people, and then they get here, and then what?
They love it.
The guys who are serious about basketball like it. You know what I mean? Every person who's like, I want to be here and I want to play.
Jordan Clarkson loved it here.
Right. People who are serious about playing want to be here. And all these guys who came in, all these older guys are going, you young guys don't even have any clue how amazing this ownership is and this group is, and they've been in all the teams. So don't think it's going to be greener on the other side just because you're going to go to another team. So for me...
Yeah. CBS Sports, by the way, had a list of the top 100 players in the NBA when the season started. And everyone has their list.
Where's
Take that
Triple
for
J?
what
Where's Triple J at?
Where would you put him?
Top 50 for sure.
Yes.
Top 25?
Their list, yes.
Top 15?
No.
Okay, 18, 20. Okay, see? But where
right
guys
in between Tyrese Maxey and Karl Anthony Towns. Now, I would disagree with that. Tyrese Maxey
probably higher
is
up
now
on
a
that
top
list.
15 player in the league. But I would put him ahead of Karl Anthony Towns.
Yeah, who's going the other direction.
Right. But then you get into this area of Paulo Banchero, Jaylen Brown, Devin Booker, Kawhi Leonard, Jalen Williams. That's where Jaren Jackson Jr. is in the list of top players in this league. The Jazz just traded for that player.
So we did this list. Did we dog it because was Walker like snuck in on the list, didn't he? And I feel like Lauri Markkanen was what, in the 30s? Or 40s maybe, and we felt like it was a diss?
This one, Walker Kessler's not in. There was some top 100s where he was. And, of course, who's not going to be on this list is Keontae George, who is now easily a top
50.
Top 40, 30 player. Lauri Markkanen was 41 on this list, ahead of Domantas Sabonis.
I remember this.
And behind OG Anunoby.
We had beef with this because we were like, this guy's going to come in and he's going to score 27, 28, 30 points a game almost, and he's doing that. And here we are. And you think about him combined with Key, who's now, like you said, you think he's a top 30 guy?
Yeah. I mean, he was probably if you made a list of guys that didn't make the All-Star team, he's in the 5. That puts you at 30.
Well, he's probably number one.
The All-Star team is the top 24 players in the world.
He's probably number one of most improved players in the league. Right?
Denny Avdija is probably number 1. He's probably close to number 2.
Yeah, and Avdija's but he's an all-star. That's why.
To your point, yes,
he's right there.
He's right there.
So you're talking about top 3 best stories of a turnaround in the league. That means he's rocketing up that list along with Jaren Jackson Jr.
You can make an argument now that the Jazz have 3 top 30 players in the league.
And then with Walker playing at a high level, he's probably a top 50 guy.
How good is Ace going to get a year from now? Who do they take in the lottery? Do they win the lottery? They're due.
Yeah.
Why not? Mm-hmm. Even if they don't win the lottery, what you're going to get it. If you keep that pick, you're getting a top 8 guy in a really, really, really deep draft. You're adding a really talented player that might be coming off the bench next year. Or if you win the lottery, you got Darren Peterson or AJ DeBonsta in that lineup.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, you're cooking.
Got yourself a stew.
There's some meat on that bone.
Carl Weathers, may he rest. All right, we'll take a break. Let's come back, and we got more to talk about. I've got a Would You Rather around the corner. I've got a lot of fun stuff here for you. By the way, Scotty's going to be out on the road this Friday, noon to 3.
Is he bringing his friends?
And friends. Okay? You don't need to ask people to be your friend. I know, I was going to say, yeah, and friends. And by the way, not a tough sell when you go, hey, come eat some food with me at the grill.
That's what I'm asking. Is he going to, am I in the club?
Get that prime rib going.
Scotty, am I in the club?
I'll drive down to Nephi right now.
I've been to Bar W. I'll go. I would love to go back.
I'll stay in Nephi the next 2 days for me to be able to get some prime rib.
Take one for the team.
On Friday, okay? All right, we'll take a break. We'll come back. We've got more to go. Around the corner, we've got ourselves a Would You Rather, so stay right here. Also, top of the hour in the 4 o'clock hour, Jonathan Tavernari, our weekly dip in with JT, get his thoughts on where this BYU basketball team is going. I want to get his thoughts on some of these crazy trades that happened. This is a guy who knows a lot of ball. I want to see what his thoughts are on that Jaren Jackson Jr. trade. So stay right here with us, 97.5 EKSL Sports Zone.
Listen, everybody. Real-life hypotheticals to get your brain churning. As JJ and Alex ask, would you rather?
Hey, on your way down to the Bar Dub Grill on Friday, stop by and see Scotty first on Thursday. So when you're making the road trip, stop down there at RGS Exteriors where Scotty's going to be, noon to 3 tomorrow. And then prime rib at the grill. I've seen the pictures, all right? So don't say it doesn't exist. I've seen the pictures.
Then you can get a donut on your way out.
Oh, they do the spud nuts, huh?
Oh, yeah.
That's my first time.
I got spud nuts. I got ice cream.
My
first
first
really
time,
nice, almost like a dessert bar.
My first time with a spud nut was in Logan because they have that famous place up there. I can't remember the name of it, but I remember going up there for a remote long time ago, and they're like, you got to have the potato flour donut. I'm like, this sounds hefty, but it's good. You know what I mean? It's good. Because that's what they are. The spud nuts are it's a potato-based flour.
Wow, there's a lot of sugar and carbs in that.
I'll take it. Yeah. SaltLakeCityFatLoss.com. Shoot, that looks a little bit too heavy for me. I guess I'll only try 2.
Yeah, it's,
all right.
I have a duty.
So, look, I was wondering about this because I honestly totally forgot. about the Pro Bowl games.
No, you didn't.
I did because yesterday.
This is twice we've talked about it today.
I know. But this is part of the Would You Rather. Okay. Would you rather watch a curling match at the Olympics or be front and center at the Pro Bowl games?
Curling at the Olympics?
Really?
Oh, are you kidding me?
I love curling because...
Why would I want to watch NFL players play flag football? Why would I want to watch Michael Parsons riding around on a scooter?
Oh, he was, huh? Well...
Why would I want to see that?
Hey, by the way, congrats to Jerry.
Jerry?
Jerry got into the Hall of Fame.
Jerry did?
He did.
Really?
His buddy Roberto Kraft did not.
He's going to have to wait. Were the writers punishing him for his
trips down to South Florida? No, I don't know.
I almost said something I can't say on the radio.
Let's just say Robert Kraft and James Harden have the same hobbies. I feel bad for that guy. Wait, which one? I don't feel bad for either of them. Sorry. He was dropped off. He was dropped off in one Bentley and then picked up in a different color Bentley. That's honestly part of the story with Robert Kraft. Do you remember this story?
Oh yeah.
They're like, at which point the suspect at this particular time. It's all police talk, right? They go, the subject then entered the establishment from a white Bentley Continental. I'm like, why do we need to know the model and the make of the car? Because it makes us go, yeah, we don't want to. I don't like this guy. Okay, so
and then he walked out happy.
So what would be something comparable to the Pro Bowl that you would like? What would beat the Pro Bowl for, or what would the Pro Bowl beat for you then? You know what I mean?
I don't know. The Big Three. I don't know. What like TBT? I don't know.
You're about to say the Unrivaled Basketball League, right?
I can't. No. Don't give me that. Don't give me trouble. Don't give me trouble.
Napolis, don't put that stuff in my ears.
You were trying to get me to say a women's sport. I'm not going to do it.
No, I didn't.
Because I enjoy women's sports.
Listen, okay.
I would rather watch any women's sport over the Pro Bowl.
What's a weird? I actually like curling too. What's a weird winter sport in the Olympics? I don't know what
curling's odd.
Yeah, but I like it because it looks like
one where they're out there with the guns.
Yeah, it's called the biathlon.
Yeah, that.
Yeah, as Jerry Seinfeld put it, he's like, "Why are we doing this? Skiing around, shooting somebody. What are we gonna have next? Swim and choke a guy? Swim?
Is there ski ballet?
Skijoring? No. Look. Skijoring, they have that, yeah. But the ski ballet went away. But if you watch the videos of it, I actually am more impressed by ski ballet than half of the stuff we have.
Would you rather watch ski ballet than the Pro Bowl game?
1,000%. Watch the video of it. It's bonkers.
All right.
It's really crazy. I'm trying to think of, like, honestly, if there's an event here, like, I'd rather watch Junior Jazz 10U than the Pro Bowl. Not with my kid in the game. You know what I mean? Like, if I'm forced to watch it because of my kid, I like watching those
tough.
Games.
That's
I know.
Not great.
Somebody else's kid playing 10U.
I can't even watch my own kid's game.
Junior Jazz. I always love going out on the Saturdays and you see 14 kids at the McDonald's with their Junior Jazz jerseys on. And you're like, yeah, you earned that. You earned that McFlurry.
Jazz or I-9 Sports.
Yeah. You earned that McFlurry, kid.
Oh, you
did it.
Yeah, you good job, buddy.
So as it comes down to it, though, because when will they actually just do away with it? Name Pro Bowlers.
Yeah,
and then we don't need.
Yeah, there's no need for it. It's silly.
Okay, I got one for you. You ready for this?
Sure.
Timing wise, it might not work out, but what if we moved the combine to this week? You know what I mean?
The NFL combine?
Yeah, man.
Well, how would that work?
Because then we're watching the NFL Network and something like you're watching something, guys who played at the team that you cheer on or guys that could be drafted by your – and I know it's early. When is the actual combine? It's in April, right? And that wouldn't work. But I'm just saying I'm more entertained by the combine. They put it on TV all over the place that week, right? And it's
the end of February. It's from the end of February to early March.
We're not that far off. Yeah, it's February 23rd to March 2nd. We're not that far off. Why can't we move the combine to where the Pro Bowl is?
Because two organizations are still getting ready for the biggest game of their lives.
Well, they're allowed to.
You think they're worried about the underwear Olympics?
Listen, show me your 3-cone time after it all goes down. They get extra time with those guys, just like they do with the opening the transfer portal a little bit more. The actual draft itself, you don't need to be at the combine.
It's like having a transfer portal in college football before the playoffs. Half the playoffs are after the transfer portal.
I guess.
What are we doing?
I'm trying to think of fun things that could happen. Fine, do the NFL draft. Do something. I just wonder when it's going to get
that whole weekend.
I know. I just wonder when it's going to get more entertaining.
I hate the bye. Just play the dang game.
I know. The players don't need it either. It's just about the run up to the game, so people can do their extra shopping or whatever. Listen, the team I cheered for growing up is playing in this Super Bowl this weekend. I have no idea what's on the menu. That's poor. That's piss poor preparation by me. PPP.
Get excited.
I know. I'm trying to put it out of my mind because I don't want to let myself think that they could win. It's the same feelings that went along with the first time they played and when Malcolm Butler picked that ball.
You don't think they're going to win? They're favored to win.
I know. So they were too when they were supposed to give Marshawn Lynch the ball. In my mind, it's the same thing. I'm not going to allow myself to go down that road of accepting that they're a favorite. There's no such thing. What did that one lady call Mike Vrabel at the Mike Vrabel? She was like, Coach Vrabel, I have a question for you. Because you know how media is this week? It's just like, come on, come all.
Yeah.
And Vrabel does this thing where he allows all the
entertainment shows come.
Well, but he also has a thing that he's done since Tennessee, which is ladies first.
Right.
All the reporters who are female can ask a first question. And she's like, Coach Vrabel, you've got a, and I was like, oh boy.
Oh.
But it's like when they bring in, the Nickelodeon kid. Anyway, all right, we'll take a break.
Love it.
We'll come back. When we return, JT, Jonathan Tavernari, going to join us on the program, give us his thoughts on BYU's 2 losses in a row that they've now suffered at the hands of some pretty darn good basketball teams and where that stands and where the big 3 are expected to go now when it comes to trying to turn that corner and really put something together for a run for this basketball team. More to go around the corner, 97.5 BKSL Sports Zone.
Your home for the best coverage of the Jazz, Utes, and Cougars is right here on The Zone. This is JJ and Alex on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
All right, everybody, welcome back. JJ and Alex, 97.5 KSL Sports Zone. Appreciate you being with us on the program. Thank you for joining either via the YouTube stream that we have going on live, of course, all show long, every show, all day long on the KSL Sports Zone. Just go to the KSL Sports page on YouTube. You can go check it out. And you can also just download podcasts wherever the podcasts are found as well. So awesome to be able to dip in that way. If you miss any part of the show or any part of any of the shows all day long on the KSL Sports Zone, just go to the KSL Sports web page right there. Jump in there, see the podcast episodes there, or just find them wherever you find your podcast. Speaking of joining via video, he's joining us. You can see him on the YouTube page as well. Jonathan Tavernari, former BYU forward and current amazing dude who's joining us every week. So we appreciate him always dipping in and giving us his thoughts here. JT, thanks for being with us, man.
And now YouTube star. You've
that
one.
You're live. The numbers are going up. They're already just They're firing all the way up here. As we get there we go. I was like waiting because there was a shoulder. I only saw your shoulder. Now we got you. All right, JT. This is off script here, and I'm going to ask you about the Jazz getting Jaren Jackson Jr. I assume you watch some NBA ball. How big of a deal is it to get a guy like that playing in our market, man?
It's huge, and I think that when you look at the way that the Jazz, what the Jazz has been doing, right? And I'll be the first to say, when Trader Danny gave up 3 first-round picks, I was like, wait, what? Did he really? What? Because Danny Ainge usually finesse people for draft picks. He doesn't get finessed. But I look at the way in the roster that he's putting together, it gives me hope that the Jazz next year will be a playoff contender. It gives me hope that the Jazz will be a little bit more competitive than they have been, right? It's been a while since the Jazz has been super exciting and fun to watch, right? And I look back to the last years with Rudy and Donovan Mitchell, and at least it was super exciting to watch because you knew that they were going to make a run in the playoffs, and anything can happen. And it just hasn't been like that, disappointment with the lottery and, some way, somehow dropping to fifth when you have, almost 15% of odds to be able to win the lottery. And so I think it's exciting. And when you look at the core that they're getting together, right, with Keontae, with Ace Bailey, and then Laurie, and then Jaren Jackson, and then Walker Kessler with, Nurkic as a backup, and a lot of the backups that they have. And that's a playoff team. And I think that, Salt Lake is an incredible playoff market. Delta Center has never, been off a top 5 list when it comes to playoff moments. Both of you have covered a lot of playoff games. JJ, I remember back when I was at BYU, a lot was happening with the Jazz, and to be able to be exciting and that environment, I think it's super fun. And I definitely miss it. So I'm excited about this trade.
Yeah, I think that's the most important, JT, is you have a fan base that's kind of fallen asleep. And when you have to go through a rebuild, a long, painful rebuild, and you're playing 82 games a year and you don't think they're going to win any of them, it's tough to get people excited about it. But this trade gets people excited. It makes this team competitive again. And if you're looking at a lineup where the point guard's 6'4", the shooting guard's 6'8", the 3 is 7 feet, the 4 is 7 feet, and the 5 is 7 feet. I mean, you, as a player, JT, you're looking at that. Is that a little intimidating?
Definitely going to have to shoot a little bit higher to make some of those shots.
You have to put a little more arch on your shot, huh?
Yeah. And so, but I think to your point, right, JJ, I mean, borderline, that's like 3 All-Stars, right? Keontae is in an incredible ascension.
Yeah.
Ace Bailey is playing out of his mind. Laurie has been an All-Star. Jaren Jackson, Defensive Player of the Year, has been an All-Star. Walker Kessler is certainly one of the best young centers in the game. You could even say one of the best centers in the game, period. And so, it's a very exciting team. 3 20-plus point scorers on your starting lineup, and so it's an exciting time. I wish that the Jazz had pulled the trigger on this a little bit sooner, but obviously the trade deadline, it's what triggers some of this stuff. And but excited to see what happens. And Delta Center basketball, when the Jazz is rocking, very few places compare like it. You know what I mean? When the fans are in it, Utah, Salt Lake is a basketball city, obviously it gets knocked down a lot. And especially on the James Harden destination list is definitely not on the top, if you catch my drift. And, but it's an incredible venue for when playoff basketball is happening.
Well, let's talk a little bit more about this this BYU team, of course, who's firing off at Stillwater tonight against the Pokes of Oklahoma State. That's between a couple of massive games. Of course, they were in Kansas at Allen Fieldhouse last weekend, and that was a tough one. That was a tough one to watch that first half and how it went down, and they were down by a lot very, very quickly. Richie had a career day, and it wasn't enough. We talked about how every one of these guys, especially against teams like Kansas, has to be on. Your thoughts on that game at Kansas? Now they've lost 2 in a row, and of course, those are really great teams to lose to, but at the same time, they seem like they need to find some mojo right now.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you. A few things can be true at the same time. AJ can be the number 1 prospect in the country, while Darren Peterson also outplayed him. I think that's fair. While it's also fair to say that Richie Saunders was the best player on the floor at that game. And so I think those are all fair things to say. I've mentioned this a few times, but I'll reiterate. BYU, the way that the roster is right now, that's not the roster that they were hoping to have. They have 3 rotation guys that are done for the season with injuries in, Nate Pickens, with Alexei Kostic, and also with Brody Kozlowski. Obviously, Brody Kozlowski, the star prepped from Corner Canyon, just hasn't had the best luck with his health at BYU. But again, this team is missing exactly what those first two guys bring in, which is being able to give Robert Wright III a little bit of a break. And then Brody Kozlowski is missing a lot of that catch and shoot, spacing the floor that this team is missing, right? Now, I have been very vocal, and I'll continue to do so because that's what you guys pay me, the hundreds of millions of dollars to share my opinion.
Check is in the mail.
Right, I appreciate that. And so, but like guys like Tyler Morris and Mihailo and Kostic, they just haven't performed well. Shooting 30% or less from three-point line, that's a debacle. And the big three, or the brig three, as everybody's calling them, they just have a ton of help right now. And so it's difficult, right? And when you play a formidable foe like Arizona, number one team in the country, which, by the way, we talked about that. Arizona looked like a dominant force. They looked flawless for most of that game. And then on Kansas, they just finally looked like the Kansas of old, right? The Kansas that I grew up watching, that, both of you definitely remember when you think about a blue blood. And this game that they have tonight, it becomes monumental, because if they some way, somehow drop that game in Clearwater, in Stillwater, oh, buddy, that is going to be a little bit of a ruckus in Cougar Town and Provo, because, again, expectations are high because of the team, because of the head coach, because of the number one player in the country, and because of the NIL roster. And so a lot riding tonight on the line for this BYU team.
Well, they can certainly drop one in Stillwater if they don't figure out their first half issues. Now, I'm not going to ask you to solve them because, if Coach can't solve them, then nobody can, because he's as good as it gets. What is going on? What are you identifying or seeing that's going on to start with? Why are they having such slow starts? Why are these first halves so poor? Because then they spend the rest of the time and energy trying to get back in the game, and by then it's too late.
Yeah, so to be fair, I think if Kevin Young was able to figure that out, he should bottle it and sell it, because my goodness gracious, the way that this team just started the first half is crazy. I remember being in Madison Square Garden and going, we're down 20. Should I just head out to my reservation right now and just go sit at the bar and get some appetizers to get started with dinner? And the same thing happened with UConn. And the one thing that I was saying, and the same thing happened with Arizona, right? I mean, Arizona was even worse. And Kansas. And so I think that the only team that they've played tight right now to begin the game with has been Texas Tech. And so, I've always joked around and said that, whatever adjustments Kevin Young make at halftime, is it possible to make before the game starts? And to this point, I don't think that it falls only on the coaches, because the sense of urgency from the players, you also don't see it. Right. I'm at the Marriott Center. I'm watching these games live. I'm watching these games from the floor. And there's just not a sense of urgency from everybody. You can see Kevin gesticulating on the sideline, moving their hands, motioning, come on, guys, let's go. You got to do this. You got to do that. And so to me, JJ and Alex, as a former player, it falls on the players to have a little bit more a sense of urgency, because the coaches plan the game plan. And I can tell you, because I've known some of the game plans because of how close I am to the staff, they don't change a ton from what they do in the first half to the second half, aside from the sense of urgency and how hard the players are playing.
Yeah, execution obviously is one of those things you watch and you go, okay, if these guys are the comebacks have been really funny, because you're almost like setting your watch by it, because it's like, okay, they're down, but they like being down. But against teams like Arizona, it's too much. Against teams like Kansas at their place, it's too much. And I don't know. You said something awesome about that comparison of AJ and Darren Peterson, because as soon as that game was played, everyone goes, it's done, it's over. This bout has been fought. This guy's the number one guy in the country. And I like what you said about it, because a guy like AJ can have a game where he underperforms compared to another superstar on the floor. But that's not necessarily what does it. What is the thing that you like about AJ's game that makes him such a perfect fit for that pro game?
To me, it's the ceiling and his potential. Right now, both of you have had experts on the show that know more about basketball than that will forget more about basketball than I'll ever learn. And a lot of them compare AJ to Tracy McGrady, right? I actually don't like that comparison a ton. To me, I prefer the Penny Hardaway comparison, because AJ's ball handling is not super tight. What do I mean by that? When you see AJ dribbling the ball, his dribble is high. It's above his waist. And so, in my opinion, if I were an NBA, front office guy, I would draft AJ and say, my guy, you're the point guard of the future. We're going to tighten your handles. Whoever Steph Curry dribbles with, we're going to hire that guy. We're going to get you some nice handles because AJ has the length, AJ has the touch, AJ has the court vision. Now, out of all of those things, shooting and dribbling are the least difficult to improve. And then you look at his height. I think he might end up being 6'10". He's over 6'9" right now. I think when it's all said and done, he might be 6'10 and a half, almost 6'11 with shoes on.
Wow. Still growing. Richie Saunders.
And then my question for you guys is, how do you stop a guard that is 6'11 with shoes on, with handles, and with the jump shot that he has?
Yeah. Well, it reminds me of Giannis, right?
Or KD when he was at his height too. That's a guy who
Giannis is a guy that could bring the ball up and down the court if he needed to, and you get some head of steam, and you're not going to stop him in the lane. So
that's right.
You can dominate absolutely if you're AJ and you start to tighten your hand. And if you can be ball dominant as AJ, you can just absolutely dominate in the NBA. There's no question about it. Richie Saunders was awesome at Kansas, and he made himself a lot of money because a lot of scouts were watching that game, looking at the other two guys, and the best player on the floor, as you said, was Richie Saunders with 33 points, a career high. What skills does he have that translate to the NBA? What is it about him that you think will make a good fit in the league? Because his stock is obviously rising.
Absolutely. I can say this because it's a Utah show. It reminds me, Richie reminds me of Simone Fontecchio from the Jazz, where he has the length, he has the skills to catch and shoot, to drive. I'm very close to Simone, and I don't want to say that AJ is better than Simone because Simone was doing, he was performing at the EuroLeague level, like an all-world player. And, I agree with you. I think Richie has made himself a lot of money. I would say that I see Richie Saunders as a Duncan Robinson with better handles, more skilled, and a little bit more quickness, right? Duncan Robinson plays a lot of the 3 and the 4. I can see Richie playing the 4 in the NBA. And so, can Richie get to an Austin Reeves level? I don't think so. But I think of, that running around, shooting. Could he become something like JJ Redick? I don't think he's that sharp of a shooter to do that. Nonetheless, someone will take a flyer on him. And lo and behold, that Richie has to go to Europe and make a couple of $1 million a year. Richie reminds me a lot of J.C. Carroll, except he's a little bit more drive-minded, where he can get to the basket more, right? But again, JJ, I know you covered J.C. Carroll a lot,
Incredible
when he was
player.
at Utah State.
Yeah.
JC was a sniper, right?
Yep.
I don't say this about many people. JC might be able to get me on a shooting contest. I don't know if Richie is at that level, but he certainly drives more than JC does.
Hey, I got JC's number. Do we need to set
let's set up Richie. Let's get JC in here. Let's get JT
happen.
going.
JC might be listening right now. JT.
Hey,
I think we got an idea here. Let's raise some money or something.
Well, I will say this. There's not many people that live in the state of Utah that may be able to outshoot me. J.C. Carroll is one of them. There are not many, though, but again, right, Ryan Toulson may, depending on the day and the time. Jimmer doesn't live in Utah, so Jimmer lives in Colorado, so he's out of the question.
He doesn't qualify.
Not allowed. Not allowed.
But everybody else, I like my chances against everybody else.
That's a heck of a list right there. There's been some incredible shooters in this state over the years.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Jonathan Tavernari, of course, joins us on the program as he does every week and gives us awesome insights. He very rarely does the self-deprecating thing, by the way, and he did it and said that, there's a lot of people out there who know more hoop than I do. But guess what? You know more about hoop than a lot of folks that we've ever talked to, and so it's always good to get the insights, and we appreciate you joining us on the program. As usual, we'll talk to you next week, JT, and have fun watching this one at Stillwater tonight, and then we'll catch up again, that Houston matchup. I didn't want to bring it up too much because you got to get what's in front of you, but we'll see how that
we'll
goes
chat
too.
about that one next week.
Dave Rose always said that, the most important game is the next one. And look, JJ, what I just got in the mail, the check. So I appreciate it, guys. I will be on the show next week because I am up to date on my payments.
Prepaid.
I appreciate you guys.
Prepaid. All right, there you go, JT. Thanks, man. We appreciate it. Jonathan Tavernari.
Glad the check cleared.
Well, we hasn't gone to the bank yet. That could be funny money. You don't know.
Don't know. Somebody in the booth better hurry up.
Yeah, Napolis faked a signature for Nate.
You better get to the credit union before it's too late.
Everybody's like, a check? What is this? What are we at the grocery store, 1990, with my mom? Remember when they did that? They bust out the checks?
They still have the little tables you can pull out there to.
You're like, what are you doing?
I don't think anyone.
I don't know.
I occasionally see someone, and I mean, I'm not gonna. They're usually older. They pull the checkbook out and they pull a little table out and they get a pen and they.
I bagged groceries the beginning of my career.
The beginning of your career
as a human, yeah, that's where I got Social Security started. You had
a grocery store career that I didn't know
did.
about?
I was I bagged groceries at Albertsons in Mukilteo, Washington. But here's the deal:
nice.
People would get the checks out. Okay.
Yeah.
And then here's the other thing happened. We walked almost everybody out to their car and put their groceries in the car for them.
That was the old way of doing things.
It's not a thing anymore. And we were not allowed to take a tip. I will say one time I did take a tip. It was a full loaf of French bread.
They gave you a loaf.
The lady goes, I want to give you some. I said, I can't if they see me taking this money.
At work. What are you going to do with the loaf?
Oh, I was a fat guy. Are you kidding me? I ate that entire thing for lunch.
Didn't even make it back to the store?
No, I got it. It was my lunch for that day.
A loaf of French bread was your lunch?
1,200 calories of pure carbs.
1,200?
I was loading.
You were definitely loading.
I was carb loading for that race I had.
Just 1,200 calories in a slice, let alone the loaf.
I probably hollowed it out and put some.
You had to put some kind of spread on it, right?
That pressed pastrami. It was like 80 cents or 50 cents a bag for those little things. All right. Yeah, there were some struggle meals that we could share.
You've got war stories.
Oh yeah, my mouth's watering because I could go for the fake pastrami and some French bread right now. Okay. All right, we'll take a break. We'll come back when we return. We got ourselves more to chat about around the corner. It's our NFL Blitz. Yes, a lot going on, of course, on a Super Bowl week. We'll get you ready for that, plus anything else that is happening in the NFL news. Stay right here, 97.5 BKSL Sports Zone.
All the latest news and notes from the league and the locals in the NFL. JJ and Alex bring you the NFL Blitz on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Welcome back, everybody. JJ and Alex, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Thanks for being with us on the program. It is a Win Ticket Wednesday, and it is that time of our Wednesday program to open up the phone lines to caller number 12 right now. 801-575-ZONE. But while you're dialing, understand this is for a pair of tickets to see Brian Regan at the Delta Center next Saturday. Not this coming Saturday, but yes, Valentine's Day. Could you imagine just winning these tickets for Valentine's Day and then being like, honey, this is how much I love you. We're going to go see a comedy show. Clean comedy, that is. 801-575-ZONE. That's 801-575-ZONE. That's where you can find yourself winners if you're calling number 12 for that pair of tickets to Brian Regan. You can also find some tickets at SeatGeek.com. So there you go. JJ, do you know that Sam Darnold's grandpa is the Marlboro Man?
No.
That is my bit of trivia for you today, yes.
Well, heck.
Yeah. I think that he's related to... I'm calling him the Marlboro Man because I have a hard time... It's a funny name.
You want me? You talking about Dick Hammer?
Yes. And I think Army Hammer might be his grandson also, which means that are they cousins? Are Darnold and Army Hammer are they cousins? Anyway, bottom line is Sam Darnold has a history, man. He's the Marlboro Man's grandson. Looking tough out there.
You want to hear something ironic?
What?
Dick Hammer.
Yeah.
The Marlboro Man.
Yep.
Died of lung cancer at the age of 69.
No way.
Yeah.
You're saying that on site when filming those commercials, they didn't have him smoke the fake ones that they have nowadays?
Real. He was truly the Marlboro Man.
Oh my goodness.
I don't think he got it from asbestos.
Well, we hardly knew you, Marlboro Man. Yeah, think about how wild that is. Everything that was in the 80s and 90s, JJ, 80s and into the early 90s. Think about everything that we had in front of us, like any racing car that was out there, like had.
Oh, Marlboro was everywhere.
Marlboro was on
you get
half
Sports
of the
Illustrated and Marlboro ads were in the Sports Illustrated.
Man. Sam Darnold's grandpa right there. So there you go. Yeah, famously died in 1999 from, you guessed it, lung cancer.
What's the difference between dying and famously dying?
This right here. When people go, oh, yeah, he died. How'd he die? You go, you're really asking me that question?
He died famously.
He was famous, and the death itself was quite notable. Well,
Hope I die famously someday.
Are you kidding? What happened?
What's required for a famously death?
Okay, let me name some notably famous
I think
deaths.
That, the Marlboro Man, the face of smoking, dying of lung cancer, is.
Since we were talking about racing,
famously.
Since we're talking about racing, how about Dale Sr.? That was a famous death. Died famously.
Yes, he did. That's dark.
Well, you're asking.
You're answering.
And most of the time, it's not because it's like, riding off into the sunset. It's because it probably happened maybe a little bit too early. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And well publicized. Ayrton Senna was one of those same guys, F1. Again, I don't know. I'm bringing up all the racers in the.
It's pretty dark.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Those are the things that came to mind.
Famously.
Man, yeah, famously dying. Well, that's exactly right. They died in a notable way, and they were famous people.
Everybody remembers their deaths.
Well, I'm not going to die famously.
That's famously.
Yeah. All right. Speaking of famous deaths, the Jets have hired Frank Reich as their offensive coordinator. Oh, my gosh.
That's famously terrible.
I know, and it's exactly what we expect out of the Jets. It's the Marlboro Man dying of cancer. This is what's happening. You didn't hear what just happened? The Marlboro Man died from lung cancer. This is the Jets doing that. It's like, oh,
our offense sucks. You know who we should hire?
A guy
Frank Reich.
Right, he's a guy who was
because that experiment in Carolina went so well.
This is a guy who was barely into coaching Stanford last year. He did it as a favor.
Yeah.
I'm
not even sure he got paid.
I'm telling you, it was.
He was a placeholder.
He was not even. He didn't want to be there. I don't think he wants to be at the Jets, but they hired him, and he's like, I'll cash your checks for this.
He probably did as a favor to Andrew Luck because Andrew Luck kept him in the league for how many years?
All right, so the reality is he gets hired as offensive coordinator.
I'm sorry, Jets fans. It's just you can't have nice.
Maybe
things.
the Jets will have us eat our words. Who did they?
Maybe they'll what?
Who did they hire as their DC? Because I know that
because that'll make a difference.
Well, because like right now. Oh yeah. Aaron Glenn took over because they fired the D coordinator, and then he's like, I'll take it from here. But you still have to have like a. Brian Duker.
So you're the head coach who's calling the plays for the defense.
Yeah.
The defense stinks. Can't even get an interception. I think that's the first team in NFL history to go through a season without interception. And you fire the other guy?
Okay. I'm wondering if Frank Reich and Aaron Glenn have a history. I'm wondering if those guys have coached together at some point. Because he tried to give an explanation today about this whole thing, and it just hasn't been it's been going over, to say the least, poorly with Jets Nation. But I mean, they're used to it. So having things happen that aren't good for them is a bad deal. So they announced Frank Reich as the offensive coordinator, and there you go. By the way, a trade target that's emerging after the Frank Reich hire, speaking of guys who were in the Frank Reich, I guess, quarterback tree of mediocrity. Jacoby Brissett is on. Everybody reporting that Jacoby Brissett could be a potential target for the Jets in the offseason. Like, what? Is that an exciting move? Come on.
Well, of course not. But Jacoby Brissett's actually really solid.
Well, he certainly came in and outperformed.
He was better than Kyler Murray.
Yeah,
with
Kyler
the Cardinals
Murray was
last
not.
year.
I mean.
But no, I mean that's not your future. He's not, He's in those commercials for a reason. The backup commercials.
Oh, yeah, the backup. Went 1-11 this year when he took over for Kyler Murray. But I think that team would have gone 1-11 with anybody.
You could have had Tom Brady on that team, and they would have sucked.
They would have gone 1-11 with Frank Reich as the offensive coordinator. Absolutely. Right. Okay, so there you go. So yeah, Aaron Glenn, he came out on Twitter and he made not on Twitter, but he made this statement. This was tweeted out by one of the beat writers. Frank has a rare combination of experience. This is Aaron Glenn commenting on it. Rare combination of experience, creativity, and calm under pressure. He's lived this game from every angle as a quarterback and also as a coach, and he's unique in his ability to see the game for what it is right now and adapt when appropriate. Frank understands the offenses and how to utilize the strength of players. I'm looking forward to how he will help this team have success.
Is he just reading off his LinkedIn profile?
No, this is somebody who from the Jets communications department goes, Coach, can I put your name on this? And he reads it over and goes, yeah, sure. Send it. Send it. Just like you can send it next year for the Jets. It's not
I can't imagine Aaron Glenn sitting down and writing that out.
All right. Speaking of offensive coordinators, Brian Angelico is being hired as the OC at the Steelers. Is that good for Mike McCarthy? Now Mike McCarthy's going to be the guy with the Denny's menu in front of his face when he when he calls
it's the same thing we've been talking about. These head coaches that call plays, I mean, they hire OCs, but like, what do they do? Yeah.
Hey, if you wanted to get some stats from last night's Pro Bowl game, I told you I knew it was going to be a blowout, a high scoring affair, even though I didn't watch it. The NFC did win the game last night, 66-52. Did you have to put that in your? Did that?
Well, I had to show the Garrett Bowles. Play that was taken away.
Pickens with that sweet touchdown catch too. That showed up. Yeah, but all these guys when they're wearing beanies and hats during the game,
nobody wants to watch these guys doing it in shorts and flags.
No.
Sorry.
It's pretty funny. So 66-52, the NFC gets the W. If you're wondering, 3 catches for 39 yards and a touchdown for George Pickens. Come on. We did yardage. All right, so there you go. Next up on the NFL Blitz here. The Seahawks-Patriots Super Bowl has been a difficult go for the folks at Fanatics. Did you see this whole debacle?
No.
They have not been able to. They had to put out an apology statement to fans. Fanatics, like the largest retail sports sales website in the world, like in terms of all the jerseys and all this, they could not keep up. They said, we apologize. We were not able to keep up with the demand for the jerseys for the Seahawks and the Patriots. And the reason this came up was because people were taking pictures of the Super Bowl, the fan store at the Super Bowl itself. And they were showing them, and they were like, what teams are these colors? And it was like their, deep cut, like fan fun jerseys, like the colors that made no sense. They weren't any colors that they had to get them out of the closet and put them up. And they had all these Super Bowl specific jerseys that were colors of the Super Bowl, which you aren't thinking to yourself, what a great color palette. It's like this pinkish and greenish and orange Super Bowl LX, jerseys. And so Fanatics had to put out an apology. And I think the reality is that they just weren't expecting the Seahawks and the Patriots to be in the Super Bowl. When they had to make these orders, they were like, give me double the orders of Chiefs, Eagles, Bills, 49ers even. Throw all those teams in there. Give me the Rams. All those had plenty of jerseys to sell. They were not expecting the push. And so the apology from Fanatics happened today and said, we will do better. So there you go.
Fanatics has had some tough situations.
Well, we put them in a tough one here. I give them a little bit of the benefit of the doubt on the hockey sweaters here because that happened quickly. You know what I mean? Like, that was a quick turnaround. So, all right.
Wasn't there a baseball uniform issue they had?
Oh, is it like they got cotton instead of the polyester?
There's some low-quality stuff, lack of availability of jerseys.
That was a Costanza reference. Paul O'Neill sweating his butt off out there in the cotton.
Yep.
That's what got him fired. Whose idea were these cotton jerseys? All right. Let's take a break. When we come back, by the way, when we return, it's that time of the day for us to give out our keyword for you to be able to win that 75-inch smart TV, courtesy of the folks at KSL Sports. We're giving one away, and all you have to do is listen in, type in that keyword at kslsports.com/contests, and then you get yourself extra entries. The more you enter, the more chances you have to win. So there you go. That keyword, we're going to give it out next. Top 10 next, also 97.5 the KSL Sports Zone.
Accessing.
When TV and radio collide.
Love it.
Wow. This is what you get. You're listening to JJ and Alex.
Don't touch that dial.
On 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
All right, everybody, welcome back. JJ and Alex, 97.5 the KSL Sports Zone. Thanks for being on the program. We are excited to be able to bring to you right now that time of the week of us giving you out the 75-inch TV smart television contest keyword. That's right. How does it work, JJ? Well, you just go to kslsports.com/contests, plural, and you can throw some entries in there, and you hear this keyword from us right now, and then you're able to get yourself a new TV, a new 75-inch smart TV for the big game, and also for the opening ceremonies of a different sporting event. See what I did there?
Very good. I think you cleared all the obstacles there very well.
We'll go with the multi-international sporting events with this one. The keyword is torch. Torch. Although that could work for like a defensive back in the big game as well.
Yeah, or you get torched by a pass and.
Oh yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah. No.
Yeah. Torch at kslsports.com/contests, and then you can get yourself going there. You've got to enter by tomorrow. Yes, or is the last day today? We got to get this TV out of the doors before the big game and the opening ceremony. So let's get this thing going. Also, wanted to mention KSL Sports Zone and Beehive Meals, honoring people that impact the youth sports in our communities. They nominate the youth sports volunteer that you know for the Beehive Meals Hero of the Week. Just go to kslsports.com/contests and listen every Thursday. JJ and I win those or read those winners off for you. And then Beehive Meals chips in a $250 to that winner as well. So if you know somebody who's doing an awesome job in the youth sports in your community, Beehive Meals and the Hero of the Week, just go to kslsports.com/contests. Okay. I've got a top 10 here for you. Now, this is one of those that's tough because it's subjective. And like I said, this is one that is the top players who have never won the Super Bowl. So, and for a long time, it was haunting your guy.
John Elway?
John Elway.
Oh, for sure.
And so people who are the top players, the best players, I have in front of me the top 10, according to the NFL, or according to CBS Sports, excuse me, top players to never win a Super Bowl.
Currently,
I'm going to give you
or
the top
forever?
10. Forever. So this is a tough list because it's going to have a lot of dudes on here. I'll tell you right now, like guys like Josh Allen are on the list, but they're in the top 50. He's like a number 30 right now.
So he's not
it's
the
not
most
like,
tortured.
Right. It's not like embarrassing enough yet. So I've got the top 10 in front of me. So do we have the timer up there, Napolis? I'm assuming you won't be participating. You'll be taking phone calls. Oh, no. The keyword, you don't need phone calls. He put the headset on. It means he's serious.
Oh, boy,
All
here
right.
we go.
All right,
Buckle up.
so here we go. Top 10 players who have never won a Super Bowl. 10-1. Here we go. On your mark. Get set. Go.
Dan Marino.
Ding.
Dan Fouts.
Ooh, looking.
That took too long.
That's all right.
Oh, man. Now who do we got?
Mm-hmm.
O.J. Simpson. He's not on there?
No, he's not. Jeez.
Hall of Famer.
It went dark.
Didn't win. Never made one.
Famously dead, by the way.
Famously dead. Famously killed people.
Allegedly. Can we say that? Or is that
JJ Watt.
Oh, JJ Watt.
Oh, man.
I know.
Myles Garrett.
He's just outside of it.
Matt Ryan. Oh, man. Oh,
Like,
gosh, dang.
Those
Phillip
guys.
Rivers.
Oh.
Never even made a Super Bowl.
I know.
Oh, man. Who's left? So many guys have actually won them.
Yeah, and some guys.
Who are the all-time greats that never won one?
It's tough.
Joe Thomas.
Terrell Owens.
Terrell Owens?
Joe Thomas.
Oh, Joe Thomas.
Yeah.
Ding.
Got him.
There you go.
Perfect. Hall of Fame.
Yeah, old school.
Guy never even came close.
Thurman
Never
Thomas.
made the playoffs.
That's a good
Jim
guess.
Kelly.
I like both
Jim
of those
Kelly.
guesses. They're not on there.
Bruce Smith.
Ooh, Bruce Smith is on the list, yeah. Yeah, late, though. Late
There's a
entry.
little too much chatter in there, man. You're wasting my precious seconds.
Yeah,
Too
listen.
much chit-chat.
Well, you're the one talking about all the famous deaths.
Focus on...
Okay, here's your top 10.
Okay.
By the way, Lamar Jackson is at 11 right now.
Ooh.
I know, isn't that
He's
weird?
right there.
Yeah. That's kind of funny.
I felt like I had to go older players, and I didn't quite get through the list.
So, a lot of these guys are retired, though.
Fran Tarkenton?
Oh, let me see if he's on the... Fran Tarkenton might be... Oh, yeah, he's 12, so he's just outside of it. Yeah, that means it's a good list. Because Fran Tarkenton went to what, 2?
Oh, 4.
Or 4,
The Vikings went to 4 Super Bowls.
Purple People Eaters.
Yeah. It was rough in the 70s.
Yeah, they were the Bills before the
They
Bills,
were the
man.
70s Bills, that's for sure.
Lamar Jackson's number 11. Number 10's Larry Fitzgerald.
Oh, that's a good one.
That's tough. LaDainian Tomlinson. That's a tough one.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And that's a tough one. Tony Gonzalez.
Yeah.
Number 8. Junior Seau, may he rest.
Oh.
Also on that same Chargers
That's right.
team that LT was on. Alan Page, who you don't really think
Minnesota
of.
Vikings.
But again, the Minnesota Vikings.
Yep.
One of the Purple People Eaters, yes. Anthony Munoz. That's a big one.
Oh, that is a good one. Probably the best offensive tackle of all time.
Ever. And he went, of course, twice?
Came up short. Yep.
Yeah. And came up short with the Bengals. Bruce Smith, as you said. Now, this is one in my mind, like just because they played enough together and he was on one of these teams, but it just wasn't when they were winning one of these. Randy Moss.
Yeah, that's right.
That's tough.
That's right.
And he got close a couple of times.
Yeah.
You know?
The Giants prevented him from winning one.
Barry Sanders, number 2.
That
now,
was
he's
easy.
a guy who's
How did
on
I miss that one?
Well, he's on the list without even getting close to the Super Bowl. Some of these guys got there and then lost it. You know what I mean? And a guy like number 1, who you got, Dan Marino, he got there so early in his career. Was it his rookie year that he got there? Or the year after?
Second year.
And then never got back.
Right.
And had a Hall of Fame career in the midst of all that.
Yep.
Like, was phenomenal, changed the game, and never got back. All right. There you go.
Great
That's a good
list.
top 10. Yeah.
Not great on my part. That was
No, but there's
I don't
tough
feel
one.
good about my performance.
There's a
today.
lot of good players. So you,
and I
you
whiffed
named
on
the
them.
ones in the top.
I
You
whiffed
named a
pretty
lot of
bad.
them in the top
Jim
30.
Kelly not in the top 10. Interesting.
Yeah, I thought he should have been there too. So, all right, we'll take the quick break. We'll come back, and when we do, Ben Anderson's going to join us. Yes, lots going on. Maybe there's going to be even more movement before the trade deadline ends tomorrow. I'm crossing my fingers that something crazy happens. Why not? I'm here for it.
The Jazz just made a move that they announced a few minutes ago.
Oh, look, it's a moving target.
We'll break down the exchange for Balsa Koprivica next on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
What time is it? Your exclusive home of Utah Jazz basketball is right here on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Stolen, diving for it. Mikhailuk sneaks back out to Sensabaugh. Finds Cody slicing to the basket for the dunk. Collier, big steps to the lane, finds Price. Zip code open 3, and he hit it. Beautiful pass by Filipowski. Bailey catches on the right side, pump fakes, puts Furphy in the jack in the box, slides by him and lays it up and in. Through the lane, Collier hands to Lowry. He rises high with the right hand, packs it some like it hot. And Lowry marketing is that right now.
You're locked into JJ and Alex on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Welcome on in, everybody. JJ and Alex on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. I mean, movement happening all across the league, but the Jazz name is tied to a lot of...
They're busy.
A lot of stuff going on here. Now, some of it is that tying up loose ends on the business side of things type of deals. You saw today, of course, Lonzo Ball traded the Jazz for a couple of second-round picks, and he'll immediately head right back out the door after negotiation with he and his agent. Jock Landale, we hardly knew ye. Wish you the best of luck. Headed to the Hawks. Cash considerations. I always want to know what that number is. Like, is it
I'm interested in cash considerations.
Yeah, I want to know what the cash considerations are.
I'd love to talk.
Somebody who might know a little bit more about all of these things and even some more recent moves. I mean, it just keeps going here. And when that target is moving and all these things are happening and the trade deadline ends, of course, tomorrow, we'll see if there are even more moves going on. I mean, the Jazz it's like those earthquakes from yesterday, Ben, and then you have the ripple effects and the smaller ones that happen afterward, right?
Yeah, it's the aftershocks of the initial earthquake, and that's always going to be a part of it. You acquire a bunch of players, which you're working out deals, you're trying to find out who's going to end where, and then you have them, and you think, how do we spread them out across the NBA and still maximize this trade deadline?
Ben, you got to share your initial reaction to the trade live on your show, and you were like all of us, it's like, whoa, wow. Were you caught off guard? Did you see the Jazz making this kind of a move at this point? Because I think we all thought, well, maybe they'll wait till the offseason and we'll see. I don't think anybody thought that they would do something like this right now.
No, I didn't think they would do this in season. It makes some sense, and we can talk about why it makes sense. But I thought this would be something the Jazz would maybe let the lottery play out, see where that pick was going to land. If it was top 3, okay, maybe that's just what you say is going to be your team going forward, plus you re-sign Walker Kessler, move a couple of pieces or sign a couple of pieces in free agency, and I thought maybe that's the Jazz's roster next year. But clearly they weren't content with that. They really wanted to be aggressive and not just, have this year's lottery pick, which they will, I assume, hold on to, but also add a major, major piece. In fact, I think there's a real argument that Jaren Jackson Jr. is the best player on this Jazz roster next year. So, it's a significant step forward, and the Jazz realized they had to be aggressive. They weren't going to back their way into the playoffs in the Western Conference, and I think that's what Jaren Jackson Jr. signals.
Well, I was listening right when all this was going down, and you talked a little bit more in depth after we kind of were getting the trade and the knowledge of what was going on. And immediately I always think when a big name gets here, I always think, what's the character fit? And you brought it up. You're like, this is a guy, for all intents and purposes, for what we know, is a high character guy. He's a piece in a locker room that you don't worry about. And that's stuff that matters to Danny and Austin Ainge.
Yeah, absolutely it does. And, it should. You're bringing people into your community. And, look at all the issues Ja Morant has had in Memphis. Like, it's truly a headache to have somebody who's getting arrested or getting in trouble with the law or gets a warrant, is pulling guns on kids he's playing basketball with. Like, that's really crazy. And you don't hear any of that from Jaren Jackson Jr., despite the fact that he was playing next to Ja Morant. He doesn't get mixed up in any of those issues. There's never been a problem with him off the floor. And, some of that comes from his dad was an NBA player. You just kind of are around the league. You understand how the business side of it works. But, no, by all accounts, a very high-character player, under a long-term contract. Everyone seems to like him. His teammates always really like him. There's a great video circulating earlier today of a girl who throws in the basketball before every Memphis Grizzlies home game. And how sad they were going to be that she wasn't going to get to play with her favorite player anymore. Like, he's a part of the community, and I suspect that will follow him.
Hey, throw her in on the trade.
Yeah, bring her here.
Yeah. Cash considerations.
Where would you rather live?
We'll throw some cash considerations your way. Yeah.
Well, Ben, you mentioned earlier that we would get into some of the details of this, and absolutely will. Why the timing? Why it was now the right time to make this move instead of waiting until the offseason? And was this a situation where this player just became available and it was a player that maybe they thought was going to be the best available to them, or was this a guy they've really identified as somebody that they feel like is a good fit for this franchise?
Yeah, it's kind of funny. I mean, first of all, yes, I think they recognize, they could have waited on this, but if you wait, you just never know. There's no guarantees that some other team's not going to swoop in and offer a better package, and then you had your chance to really get better and you missed it, and that's the flaw, But the other reason is the fit is so exactly right, and I think that's probably what's been underrated here a little bit. And I'll just give you an example. Like last year, the Jazz wanted to trade Colin Sexton. So they pull up the salary cap sheet of everybody in the NBA, and they say, who else makes $19.3 million that we can trade for that fits our roster? But, Jusuf Nurkic wasn't necessarily about fit. It was about moving off of Colin Sexton to give room for Keontae George. So they go down every salary player's number, which teams might be interested, and boom, Jusuf Nurkic is sitting right there. It's kind of that simple. That was the only name that really made sense for a team that was willing to make a trade. Well, go through the Jazz's needs right now. They need to get a lot better defensively. So you're looking for, an all defensive team player in the NBA. Okay, that honestly knocks it down to 20, 25 players that are active. Now you need a big guy, but not a center. Okay, so Rudy Gobert's out of the conversation. You're not looking at him anymore. Victor Wembanyama is never going to become available, so he's off the list. You also need a guy who's spaces the floor a little bit and can still shoot the ball. You say, okay, well, now the list is 2 or 3 players long. And then you need a player who fits between the ages of all the young players the Jazz have on their roster and Lauri Markkanen, who's 28. And if you just kind of sort that out and you sift and sift and sift, there's one name left, and it's Jaren Jackson Jr. I mean, maybe the other possibility would be Bam Adebayo, but, I mean, it's just such exactly the right fit for all of the things the Jazz needed to address. And that doesn't mean he's a perfect player. That doesn't mean it, he guarantees the Jazz an all-star or a future championship. But for the things that they needed, there was one player really around the NBA that made sense, and it was Jaren Jackson Jr., and they said, if that's what we need, let's go get him.
And the Grizzlies happen to be rebuilding at the moment that you want to make that deal.
Yeah, it's good.
Boom.
Good time.
On top of it, he has to be available.
Yes.
You can't just make a team trade a player unless it's the exact right spot.
And listen, that's a guy that in the years past they wouldn't have been close to talking to you about. But when circumstances are what they are, and you have a superstar who's a massive headache, and then you go, you know what, fire our coach. Let's figure out how to get rid of this massive headache of ours, and you know what, let's just throw it all in there. Let's figure it all out at once. As you saw this thing go down, and I remember you also talking about how you're not going to get this guy in free agency, and so you got to make a move for a guy like him. When you look at the offseason and how the Jazz are going to have to figure out Walker Kessler's future, does it make it more likely? I mean, is that move also kind of adjacent to all the other positives? Does it make a guy like Walker Kessler go, you know what, I do want to work out a deal because look what they're doing?
Yeah, I'm sure the first thing Walker looked at was saying, oh, he makes $50 million. Can they afford to pay me? Which is the same thing I questioned.
It's a fair question.
Are they going to be able to pay Walker now that they've got $90 million a year going to just 2 players in Lauri Markkanen and Jaren Jackson Jr.? It's a very real question. And the Jazz have basically told everybody that, yes, we're going to pay him. We're going to figure out what it takes to bring him back, and we're going to hold on to him. And you've seen evidence of that because the Washington Wizards today went out and traded for Anthony Davis. Well, the Wizards were one of the 2 teams that were trying to trade for Walker Kessler, and clearly the Jazz said, it's not happening. Don't wait for it anymore, and they pivoted to another move. So, yeah, the Jazz will bring Walker back. It's not going to be cheap. I'm looking at $25 million at least, I would think. If they can get him for less, I think that's a pretty good deal. But, the Jazz are committed to having another big man on the floor next to Jaren Jackson Jr., and that's a good sign. You look at his year that he won the Defensive Player of the Year award. He was sharing the floor with Steven Adams, another big. When he's at his best, they had Zach Edey on the floor. They clearly thought he was going to be better with having a big center next to him. So that's the direction the Jazz are going to follow.
I think you're probably already getting a sense of this from a lot of people within the organization, people who cover the team, and fans. The relief that this rebuild process is coming to a head. Do you get that sense? Do you feel like this is what this signals? Is this team is ready to move forward and start to compete at a high level?
I mean, I think you saw it last night in the win over the Pacers. There are a couple of games you win every year that are just built into your schedule. Like, you're going to win your home opener basically every year. The first game of the season, fans are geeked, players are excited, everybody's healthy. You're going to win that game. The last game before the All-Star game, if you're at home, that's a win because the other team's already thinking about Cancun or wherever they're going next. You make a trade where all of a sudden, like, the future of the roster reveals itself. Like, you're no longer tanking. And yes, the Jazz are tanking for the next 30 games. Don't get me wrong. But you see the light at the end of the tunnel. Like, all of these guys who have been hearing nothing but like, oh, the Jazz are trying to lose, et cetera. That's over. And they see it. And now not only are they excited about that, but they recognize, oh, man, I'm competing for my spot on that good team. So now I'm really going to, buy in. I'm going to start playing harder. And I think you saw that last night. So, yes, I think there's just kind of a general exuberance among the players around the roster, certainly at the top with Lauri Markkanen, that this isn't going to be, the team that they've been with over the last 3.5 years starting as soon as next season.
We saw the names that left the building, and you start to put things together there. And with Walt Clayton Jr. going out the door, and then with a 22-assist night last night, you look at it and you go, okay, that guard line, it looked too deep. And so having Walt Clayton Jr. move as part of this deal made sense. And then Isaiah Collier, I think, understands what his role is, which is he's on the rise in this organization. And what about the guys that aren't, we started to put together what the lineup is going to look like for 2026, 2027. But these other young guys that are still on this roster are a massive part of this future still.
Yeah, they are. And look, I mean, the biggest name is Ace Bailey still.
Yeah.
And I should say Keontae George. I just kind of don't count him as one of the young players so much any longer. But, if you remember back to when the Jazz traded Donovan Mitchell to the Cleveland Cavaliers, as much as the Cavs were betting on Donovan, they were actually betting on Evan Mobley, who was their other top 5 pick already on the roster, becoming like a superstar, like an Anthony Davis quality player, because you actually need somebody better than Donovan if you're going to win a championship. And they were betting on that, and they didn't get there. And that's why the Cavaliers are where they are right now at this trade deadline and making all these kind of chaotic moves. The Jazz are betting that Ace Bailey is going to hit another level of stardom and maybe still a higher level than Keontae George, Lauri Markkanen, Jaren Jackson Jr. And if he doesn't, this year's pick, ideally they move up in the lottery and they get one of A.J. DeBonta or Cam Boozer or Darren Peterson, that player can become better than Lauri Markkanen, can become better than Jaren Jackson Jr. And if that happens, this championship window truly does open for the Utah Jazz. You're going to have 2 top 30 players on your roster, maybe a top 20 or 15 player on your roster, maybe Keontae George is top 40. And that's what the Indiana Pacers had. That's how you compete for a title. That's what the Phoenix Suns had when they lost to the Milwaukee Bucks. That's how you get there. So, yes, I absolutely think this is about the young players, some of them who are not on the roster yet. But, yeah, Keontae George taking another step. Ace Bailey continuing to improve. And I think he's had a very good rookie season already.
This move makes perfect sense for the Utah Jazz and signals the end of their rebuild. And I'm looking around the other moves in the league, Ben, and I'm like, why are the Cavaliers making this James Harden deal? Why are the Wizards making this Anthony Davis deal? I can't make sense of those deals like I can the Jazz deal. What are those teams doing?
Yeah, it's desperation, and that's where you don't want to be. And getting desperate is really dangerous for sports teams, and rarely, do you throw a Hail Mary and have it come out. Now, it worked for the Mavericks a little bit. They lose Luka Doncic, they get Cooper Flagg, but a 1.8% chance of that happening. And even then, are they ever going to get back to as good as they were with Luka? I mean, they were in the finals 2 years ago. We don't know. So you don't want to put yourself in a spot where you're desperate. And I do think you need to credit Ryan Smith for never getting desperate with this Jazz rebuild, where all of a sudden he said, well, whatever, let's just accelerate and go get whatever the best player is that's available right now and just try and make the playoffs at whatever cost, even if there's no really bright future. I think as I laid out a couple of minutes ago, it's like there is a pathway for the Jazz to not just, be good next year, but get better beyond next season with these young players. Yeah, I mean, the Wizards, you've got a couple of interesting young players. I like Alex Sarr, but you're capped when Trae Young's going to have the ball for 30% of the game and Anthony Davis only plays half the games of the season. Like, you're just only going to be so good committing so much money to those 2 players. And the Cavaliers are on the wrong end of this peak. They've already been to the top. They had their best players. They had their best roster. They said, this is going to be our championship hope. And then they kind of realized that wasn't going to work anymore. So they give the Jazz 2 second-round picks today in exchange for taking Lonzo Ball back. And while the Jazz are going to eat, the remaining $3 or $4 million on Lonzo's contract by buying him out, it's going to save the Cavaliers $65 million in luxury tax moves. But look, once you're saving money, you're no longer competing for a title. There aren't a lot of teams that are saying, like, hey, we cut a bunch of money and we got better. Like, that's not how the league works. Yeah. That's not how the world works. So the Cavs are, unfortunately, I think, slowly unwinding. Maybe they make one more desperation move before the trade deadline to see if they can make a title run this year. But that window is closing violently quickly.
Yeah, we were talking about those moves that could happen before tomorrow when the trade deadline does come to an end. Are there some feelings of hey, there could be more insane, desperate moves, or are there some solid moves that are out there for other teams in the league? And do you think the Jazz are done when it comes to maybe? I mean, I guess we can never count Danny Ainge out of anything, right?
Yeah, they just got 2 more second-round picks that now they can play with if they want to. They still own all their future picks. So if, the right player comes along that the Jazz don't feel like is going to put them over their win total this year that they're comfortable with, but will make them a lot better next season and fits with the roster, like, I could see that. Also, the Jazz have an extra roster spot open now after today's transaction. So if somebody wanted to pay the Jazz to take on a player to cut their salary and the Jazz can get more draft assets, I think that's certainly available to them. So I'm sure the Jazz are going to be very busy on the phone for the next, 16, 18 hours until the trade deadline. But I'm not sure the Jazz are going to do anything major. But, yeah, I mean, Giannis is still out there, and it does seem like there's some momentum that he could be moved before tomorrow afternoon. And as teams get desperate, they are willing to throw a lot out for a player of that caliber. And, maybe the Cavaliers would mortgage everything, every last bit they have, including Evan Mobley, and Jared Allen to try and get one more superstar to pair with Donovan and James Harden. And, would that work? Probably not. Is it enough? Probably not. But we'll see how motivated the Bucks are.
Ben Anderson, you hear him every day on Jake and Ben, of course, 10 to noon right here on the KSL Sports Zone, but you can also read his byline there at KSLSports.com as our Jazz insider for KSL Sports. So we appreciate it, Ben. Thanks for all the breakdowns, and we're looking forward to an even more eventful 18 hours here before this thing all closes down. Thanks, man.
Sounds good, guys.
There you go.
Thanks,
Ben
man.
Anderson. I think what makes this trade fun with the Jaren Jackson Jr. thing is that the other trades do feel more desperate in comparison, and it feels like Jazz fans today are kind of doing the, ooh, feel sorry for the Wizards today. Like a
you
spot.
should.
I know, or you go, ooh, the Cavaliers, I don't know if you got any better. Feel sorry for Donovan Mitchell today. This is a moment the Jazz fans haven't had in a while where they're able to go, because before, look, you know what no one's saying? And we stopped saying it because I think it got too much run and it got too overblown and it got too much. You know what I'm about to say? The big game hunting.
Yeah.
Remember that? At some point.
They just went big game hunting.
I know, and we didn't say it.
And they bagged the buck.
And we didn't say it because they were so sick of hearing it because of that one time that it was mentioned. And everyone's like, what about the big game hunting? Did you call big game hunting this offseason? It's like, I'm so sick of hearing that. And when they finally went out and did it, no one's talking about that. They're going, oh, look what they're doing here. This isn't just a big move. It's a franchise altering move. And without being too hyperbolic about it, look, this is a team that is used to winning and a fan base that is used to winning. But let me give you something. It's been 4 or 5 years, and some of my kids are like, I don't actually remember a Jazz team being any good. This is what I've dealt with every year.
Everybody's watching hockey now.
Yeah. So it's a shift that I think a lot of immediately it becomes a big deal next year to get into that building to see what this lineup is going to look like. And Will Hardy, there's another part of it that we haven't mentioned much of. This guy deserves big moves like that because of how steady he's been in the development of this roster, these players, and it doesn't work if he has a bunch of unruly, pissed off, ego-driven young dudes in the locker room, and I don't think you have those guys.
No, you don't. And Will Hardy deserves to coach a stacked and loaded roster, and he's finally going to get to do that next season. And I'm looking at the Jazz right now, and we were just talking about, all of a sudden things kind of make more sense. Like, okay, now Isaiah Collier, you know who he is. You know what Kyle Filipowski's role could be. The roster's coming into focus now. Until yesterday, everything was blurry, right? Like, which of these young players is going to be around?
Right.
Who are they going to keep? Who are they going to move? We've talked about on the show. Eventually, they're probably going to have to move some of these guys for an asset or two or whatever, and it turned out they used some of those guys in this trade. But when you make a deal like this, your roster now and moving forward comes into focus. We now know who their 5 guys are that are going to be that part of that core. We've listed them. The potential of having a 6'4", 6'8", 7 foot, 7 foot, 7 foot guy out on the floor is really exciting. And then you look at your bench, like Kyle Filipowski is going to be a heck of a backup 4. You talk about Jaren Jackson not being able to rebound. Guess who's really good at rebounding?
Yeah.
Kyle Filipowski. So you bring him in.
I think that's what's great.
And then Zay comes in off the bench.
Yes.
And all of a sudden you know who your rotation is moving forward as well. So everything's coming into focus.
The Grizzlies, they were trying to capture that, Steven Adams. I love that Ben brought this up. Steven Adams playing next to
Great point.
Triple J was when he was the Defensive Player of the Year.
Yep.
Because there wasn't all this. Everybody's like, "Oh, he's not rebounding." It's like, guess what? That's what Steven Adams was for. That's what Zach Edey was brought in for, right? That's what Walker Kessler's going to do a ton of.
Yes.
And everybody else. And
Kyle Filipowski.
Yes. And I think that this is
and Yusuf Nurkic if they keep him.
Yes. There's a huge moment for them to be able to go, who cares about the rebounding number of one of the best defensive players in the league right now and a guy who scores when there are so many other guys on the floor who can get that rebound for you. So, again, is there a record for how many 7-footers have been on a roster? 7-footers that matter, I guess.
Well, the Jazz can try to break that record because they've got a good start on that. They're loaded at at that center position.
Taco Fall available for,
I guess
for
I
camp
shouldn't say
next year?
center position. Lowry's not
Yeah.
a center.
Oh, yeah.
But,
No.
And when it comes to 7-footers, they're pretty loaded.
Bring Taco Fall in.
Taco Fall's reached that point now?
I just want to get the average height of the team up just for the offseason, just for people to go, wow, look what the Jazz are doing. Just to really scare people. Is Bol? Oh, he's not as tall as Manute, though, his dad.
Is Bol still in the league?
Taco Fall certainly isn't. I mean, he is in the celebrity game. If you're playing the celebrity game, are you offended by that? If you're him? I mean, it's got to be a little bit of a gut
If you were
punch.
playing professional basketball within the calendar year and now you're playing in a celebrity game, that's not good.
Okay. Is McClung going to be there at the dunk contest?
No, he's not.
What?
He is not going to defend his title.
The Jazz bring him in. We make that move tomorrow? Hey,
well, the
Utah
Jazz need some representation in L.A.
I know. There's not a soul there. All right. Hey, but SGA got hurt, right? Whereas I'm expecting there's going to be a name added at some point. We knew there was going to be a couple names added here and there.
So pay attention to that. Do you want to know who's in the dunk contest this year?
Oh, I'd be surprised if there's anybody that we recognize.
One's an all-star.
Who is it?
Jalen Duren of the Detroit Pistons.
I'm okay with that.
He's a center. He's a big guy.
Yeah.
So's Jackson Hayes of the L.A. Lakers.
Always got to do more when you're tall in those dunk contests. You don't get as many points.
Right, and then Carter Bryant of the San Antonio Spurs. Does that get you excited?
How many? 3 guys?
There's only 3.
Oh, jeez. MJ and Dominique rolling over in their graves.
Why are we still doing this? Let's just stop.
All right, we'll take a break here. We'll come back. Hey, when we do, by the way, we're getting you ready for some hockey tonight. Top of the hour, you're going to get your pregame, of course, of the Utah Mammoth. Their final game before the, I almost wanted to call it the All-Star break, but it is the Olympic break. But it is an All-Star matchup of sorts. So they're taking on the Detroit Red Wings, and so we'll bring you that. This portion of the show is always brought to you by the good folks at Trajan Wealth, TRAJANwealth.com. Trajan Wealth for all your trusted local needs in retirement. We'll come back, and we'll hit you up with a couple of things here. First, we'll break down a little bit more of what this hockey game means tonight for this Mammoth team and where they stand right now going into this break. So stay here, 97.5 the KSL Sports Zone.
The exclusive home of the Utah Mammoth is on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Here comes Schmaltz with McBain and Marino. Back for Marino. In front, tapped in, and they score! Schmaltz in front, shoots and scores again! Nick Schmaltz has 2 tonight! Oh, you're killing me, Schmaltz! Brought ahead by Keller. Utah numbers ahead. Keller and Schmaltz. Schmaltz shoots and scores! Another Hattie for Nick Schmaltz! Send him!
You're locked into JJ and Alex on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
All right, welcome in, everybody. JJ and Alex, 97.5 the KSL Sports Zone. Just by way of announcement here. Are the Aggies at the pit tonight? Ooh, boy.
Yep.
Hey, Parker, you here for that or for hockey? Okay. I mean, we're going to have all of it. I mean, that's a late game, though.
Great night.
Obviously, you'd be here early.
We got Mammoth. We got Aggies. We got Cougars. Oh, my.
Settle down. Yeah. I'm glad you showed me the slap shot, so I know you're here for hockey. Also, it would be weird if you just showed up for a 9 o'clock game 4 hours early. Lloyd would be like, I'm not paying you for this, dog.
Overachiever in there.
Oh, Parker is, like, definitely the guy who's going to be here. You know what I mean? Like, it's not overachiever. It's a baseline for Parker. You know what I mean? So, yeah, hockey coming up at 6 o'clock. Pre-game, 7 o'clock puck drop against the Detroit Red Wings. So, yeah, an original 6 coming in town. And, by the way, they're overperforming.
They're good.
And this is weird to me that hockey's like this. Like, remember the Jets? The best team. They were the Avalanche last year. You know what I mean? Like, they were the Avs who were just beating everybody. And they were so far and away ahead in the points race. You know what I mean? Like, it was. And then to see them go, whoosh, the Jets have gone dark, man. Nobody's heard from them. Like, you start talking about teams that are in the hunt for, and they can make a push, but they're 10 points behind the Mammoth right now. The Jets, at this point last year, like I said, they were at that 75, 80 points, something like that.
Yeah.
They were really good, and then they ended up having the most points in the entire league, and then they exit stage left early from the playoffs, which happens in the NHL.
Yes, it does.
And suddenly you have one of the best goaltenders in the entire league, and he's not having a phenomenal season, and suddenly your team goes, all right, guess we're rebuilding. I mean, Nashville, it happened to Nashville last year.
Yeah. Everybody thought Nashville was going to be a juggernaut because of the free agent acquisitions they made, and they were one of the worst teams in the league. It didn't work.
I don't get it because you don't have that in these other leagues that we cover. You know, if you've got a good team and you add to that in the NBA, you're expected to, and you usually deliver. Now you have an injury to your star player. Halliburton goes down with a popped Achilles, or if you're the 76ers and you go, you know what, we're just going to give up this year. We'll see what we got next year.
It worked out pretty well for them.
I know.
They ended up getting a franchise player in VJ Edgecombe.
It's crazy.
Look what the Spurs have done. They keep doing that.
So it's
the Dallas Mavericks.
Hockey's funny like that for me because then you have teams like Seattle who are playing better than they should be.
Anaheim's come out of nowhere.
Anaheim is coming out of nowhere. And again, these are teams that you're looking at and you go, no, you're not supposed to be in this. The Mammoth aren't supposed to have to deal with you. They're like this steady Eddie who's just been kind of moving slowly up the.
To some in the league, the Mammoth or that team was like, oh, welcome to the club.
Yeah,
maybe.
Yeah, they're on pace, but man, it's so difficult.
When you think of the most famous, when you think of an NHL hockey team, which one? What's the first one that comes to mind?
Of an NHL hockey team.
Someone says hockey.
Yeah.
Who do you think of?
Toronto Maple Leafs.
Okay. For me, it's the Red Wings.
The Red Wings are, I mean, that era of Steve Yzerman and them winning cups in the mid '90s. That was definitely like when I'm
coming
booting up.
They were the juggernaut.
Yes.
They had the Russians on that team.
Mm-hmm.
Scotty Bowman was the coach. They dominated the league. They were the New York Yankees of hockey at that time. I know that previous to that, it used to be the Montreal Canadiens, but for me growing up in the 90s and early 2000s, it was the Detroit Red Wings. So I've always looked at them, plus just that logo, the winged wheel.
Best sweater in hockey, by the way.
Ferris Bueller's Day Off.
Yeah, best.
Cameron Fry wearing the Red Wings jersey, right? So, I mean, it's that and the Blackhawks for me because I don't know why, but, Wayne's World, he's wearing the – it's funny how we attach.
I told you that. I told you that bit of trivia. Yeah.
Of the Detroit Red Wings. But you look at the recent history, and this franchise sucks. Or at least they did until this year. They're about to break a 9-year playoff drought. The Red Wings have not been in the playoffs in 9 years. The last year they made it to the playoffs was the 2015-16 season. Do you know when the last time was they won a playoff series? 2013.
13? Wow. Hey, by the way, of all-time jersey sales, sweater sales.
Yeah.
And this only goes back 25 years. The Detroit Red Wings, what do you think they are on the
number
list?
Number one.
Not number one, which is
2.
wild. They're number 3 with the Reds, but they're the only team on the list with their away whites on
so
also the top
both
10.
On the top 10.
Which means they're which means they're number 1
because they're amazing.
So that is the best sweater. I mean, the winged wheel is.
What's
phenomenal.
number 1 on that list? You got in front of you?
Yeah, it's the red home jersey for the Canadiens, which I don't agree with.
Really?
Yeah, I don't agree with it. So, I mean, it's not that I don't agree.
Because the
sales are the sales, but
everybody in Quebec has one.
That's your team. Yeah. Number 2 is the Chicago Blackhawks.
Nice. Like I said, the Blackhawks jerseys.
4
iconic.
are the Hartford Whalers, the green throwback. The whale. But they were wearing the white throwback when they played Utah last week. The green one's unbeatable. I'm showing you the picture right here. It's unbelievable.
No, it's great. Yeah.
Unbelievable.
I love the Whalers stuff.
It's so good.
I got to get me some.
And then actually on the list, number 7 on the list is the Mighty Ducks original eggplant and jade.
Yep.
That got huge sales because of the movie.
Yep.
Because of what's his name?
Because of what's his name?
Emilio Estevez. What's his character's name?
I have no idea.
I can't remember either.
But he is in the movie.
Yeah.
It's funny that
You're
a
not
movie.
He's like you.
It's funny they named a franchise after a movie.
You missed this shot. You're not just letting me down, you're letting your whole team down. I love it. Back when coaches were coaches, man.
Anyway, it's going to be fun to see the Red Wings on the ice tonight. It's always
Gretzky-era black and silver jerseys.
Ooh,
also
for
on the
the
list.
Kings.
Yeah.
All
right, here's what we're going to do.
I think the Oilers have a great jersey, too, by the way.
Take the break here. Before we get out, if you want to head down to Nephi and go check out Scotty's going to be live on Friday, noon to 3 at the Grill down in Nephi. Bar W Beef, of course, featured highly at the Grill since it's their restaurant, 2264 South Main Street in Nephi. All right, we'll take the break. We'll come back, get you ready for Utah Mammoth. Coming up, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Wrapping up the hour with our picks for the best and worst moments on today's show. As JJ and Alex want to hear your best and worst of the day.
Okay, everybody, welcome back. JJ and Alex, final segment of the day before you get you ready for Utah Mammoth hockey coming up. Appreciate all of our guests joining us. Mike Folta, radio play-by-play voice of the Utah Mammoth. You'll hear him just momentarily here. Jonathan Tavernari joining us, and then, of course, our own Ben Anderson. Nice enough to break down the particulars of some of the trade deadline things. You didn't bring up your what was the guy's name who also was part of the new deal with the Jazz?
Which one?
The most recent.
Oh, you want me to go?
Yeah.
Well,
just real quick, I just want to hear the name.
Do we
again.
need to play the breaking news sounder?
Okay, let's do it real quick. Come on, Napolis. I know we're short time here, but news is news, man. We got to get this thing going.
No, we got. I mean, we can't. It's priority. It's breaking
from
news.
the never heard of this guy NBA trade deadline news of the Utah Jazz. What do you have there, JJ?
The Utah Jazz announced today that the team has completed a trade with the Oklahoma City Thunder. The Jazz have acquired cash considerations from the Thunder in exchange for the draft rights to Balsa Koprivica, which were originally acquired by the Jazz on July 18th, 2024, in a trade with the Los Angeles Clippers. The Jazz have acquired cash considerations.
We hardly knew ye. Yeah, what is that? Like, is it a gift card? I'm not trying to be mean. I'm saying I want to know what the money is. So, Mammoth hockey coming up, of course, around the corner here. We're going to get you ready. How's this one go down with the Detroit Red Wings, JJ? This is a tough team coming in, but this is a team that has been really, really hot as well, here at home especially.
Olympic break starting, right? Red Wings are on the road. Feels like a good time for the Mammoth to not only get a win, but win well, win strong.
We're in big, huh?
Yeah, win well.
Win famously.
Mammoths are going to win well tonight.
Win famously. Right?
Yes.
Just get that thing done. Okay, there you go. We'll be back again tomorrow. You've got Mammoth hockey, of course, coming up here, and we're going to get you ready. Mike Folta's going to have the call. Adrian Denny, of course, on your pregame. Stay right here dialed in, and stay tuned tomorrow. 97.5 KSL Sports Zone.